What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and I am back at it, back at it, back at it again. Ha! I'm back at it again, man. Listen, we got a lot to discuss. The New York Jets have fired Joe Douglas. There's been a lot of stuff happening, a lot of stuff going on with the New York Jets. Call in 515-602-9639. Again, 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We are taking all callers. Give me 1 second, folks. We're going to connect the audio and get right to it. Hold on a second.
Blog Talk Radio.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and I am back at it, back at it, back at it again. Ha! I'm back at it again, man. Listen, we got a lot to discuss. We have quite a bit to discuss. The New York Jets are a complete dumpster fire. And we're going to have this discussion because let me tell you something. This is different. Okay? This is much different than it's been in the past. We've had bad players, we've had bad coaches. We've gotten rid of them. Bad general managers. But it seems now, right, that it's resurfacing yet again that we're seeing that the real issue with the New York Jets is the ownership, right? We're going to be talking about that tonight. The Jets also lost to the Colts. We'll be discussing that. Oh, for those of you that may not know, the New York Jets have fired Joe Douglas, okay? If you didn't know that, if you don't know, now you know. We're going to be talking about all that tonight. Call in 515-602-9639. Again, 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. I am taking all callers, okay? When you call in, be patient. We're going to get to everybody, okay? So many things going on here with the New York Jets. Let me go ahead and get into it. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. Okay? I truly do. I truly, truly do. Even though Blog Talk is trash. All right? I enjoy that people check in with your boy on the Long Beach Joe Show, okay? I am also on Twitter as well. For those of you that may not know, going over to Twitter, type in @The Long Beach Joe, @The Long Beach Joe on Twitter, okay? I'm not going to call it X. That's never going to happen. I'm always going to refer to Twitter. Some of y'all just going to have to get over it, okay? At some point, you got to let it go, okay? Get to that stage where it's all about acceptance, all right? So accept that, all right? Again, @The Long Beach Joe on Twitter. All right. Follow me. I'll follow you right back. Let's go back and forth and have that great discussion. Okay. I am also, okay, on iTunes as well. Going over to iTunes, type in The Long Beach Joe Show on iTunes. The Long Beach Joe Show on iTunes. Okay. Follow the podcast over there. Subscribe to it. Leave me a 5-star rating. Leave me some feedback as well. I want to thank everybody that does that. Again, I'm always stunned, okay, that so many people listen to me from so far away. All you folks in Italy, Spain, the UK, and it's a lot of y'all. it's a lot of y'all, and I want to thank y'all for that, okay? All my folks over there in London, Ireland, everybody across the pond, I'm always stunned. Listen, I want to thank, again, all of my listeners, period, okay? But, you know, especially the folks overseas. That's wild, okay? So I want to thank y'all for listening to your boy and keep checking in with me, all right? And for those of you that do not know, we are live on YouTube, okay? We are live on YouTube, okay? Come on over to YouTube. Type in Long Beach Joe Jets, Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. All right, subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you'll be in the know. All right? But just know that when you come over here, hey, you're going to have to deal with some people, baby, okay? My live shows is wild. They wild. And you're going to have to deal with some people in the chat. I call my chat the Savages. You want to know why? They're savage. Savage! Listen, man. Listen. Those people get after everybody, okay? Nobody's safe, not even me. They do not care. If they don't like what you bring to the table, trust, they're going to let you know. They're going to let you know, all right? So please, come on over to YouTube. I want to thank all the ladies, you know what I'm saying? They said, Joe, we like your takes. We like what you got to say about the Jets. We didn't know you were so handsome. Thank you so much, okay? Beautiful ladies out there, I want to thank y'all, all right? So, again, Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. Subscribe. Click that notification bell. Give the video a thumbs up. And, get involved with everything that we're doing over here in the channel. Salutes to all the Savages. I see you, okay? Lil Balloon, I see you in the building. Todd, Outlaw, Christopher Phillips, all of y'all, man. Salutes and respect to every last one of you. We got to get into it. I got callers on the line. We will get to everybody tonight, okay? 515-602-9639. Call in. We are taking calls, and we are talking that talk. Now, the New York Jets lost to the Colts, right? 27-28. Pathetic performance by the New York Jets, and that loss puts the Jets at 3-8. Playoffs is over. Season's done, right? So everybody's like, oh, okay. Season's over. Things happening, all right? It's said and done there. Well, it continues to go downhill after that. For those of you that do not know, Joe Douglas was fired a couple days after that. He is no longer the New York Jets general manager. So here we are sitting at this point now, right? Joe Douglas gets fired, and rumors are swirling about this situation. And then we see reports surface as well from The Athletic, okay? Now, this is Rosenblatt and Rizzini, right? Rosenblatt and Rizzini. And a lot of people are going, oh, well, it's Rosenblatt. They have an axe to grind with the, with the New York Jets and everything. No. It's not just them. We start seeing that other beat writers, Rich Cimini being one of them, coming out and letting some credence to some of the things that were in this report. Now, we're going to cover just a couple things, and I'm going to quickly, again, go to the lines. 515-602-9639. Of course, if you want to talk about the game, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the firing of Joe Douglas. We'll talk about, where this team is going to go. Again, no cursing on my show for my new callers. Please do not do that. I do not want to get you up out of here. I want to hear from everybody, but please be mindful of that, all right? But I'm going to quickly go over just some of the points, okay? Some of the shocking points that was in this article that have been released. It starts with, after the loss to the Broncos, okay? 10-9, y'all remember that. That was a bad loss. After the loss to the Broncos, Woody Johnson had a meeting with coaches and front office members to bench Aaron Rodgers, presumably for Tyrod Taylor. That sounds insane, okay? Because you got to keep in mind that this is coming off of that New England beatdown. Y'all remember that? When we smacked New England live, primetime TV in front of the entire world, 24-3. They didn't even look like they were in our league at that point, right? If you watch that Broncos game as well, Aaron Rodgers was the least of our issues in that game. The least of our issues. He was sacked 5 times. The offensive line couldn't block a soul. There were so many issues, mainly at left tackle in that game, right? There was a lot of problems up front, and Aaron Rodgers wasn't really one of the big problems. Well, Woody Johnson decided, he wanted to have a discussion with the staff about benching Aaron Rodgers, and even the staff themselves couldn't believe it. One of the staff members literally asked him, are you serious? They couldn't believe that they were going to bench Aaron Rodgers, a future Hall of Famer, and try to embarrass him in that fashion. Another part of this report as well, Woody Johnson fired Robert Saleh on October 8th, but he did that without consulting anyone. According to this report, he didn't consult anyone. Now, Woody initially came out and said that he had spoken with Joe Douglas, but according to this report, He didn't contact Joe Douglas at all. He didn't consult anyone. He woke up and said, I'm firing this guy. He's up out of here. Which kind of makes sense because you would think that Joe Douglas would probably pound the table to keep Robert Saleh here because that was the guy that he hired. I could see Joe Douglas saying something like, hey, look, we need to stay the course. Yes, we're coming off of, rough times, but we're going to get things together. Nope, still done. And I remember around that time as well, we had a show and I spoke about how Joe Douglas was not safe. How I did not believe that Joe Douglas was safe at all and that he was on thin ice. Because even if Woody consulted him, he still made the move, which shows that Joe Douglas's power was being brought down. It was being relinquished, right? And the crazy thing about this situation is we've seen the Johnsons get involved in football operations before, and it's went tragically wrong every single time. And we're going to discuss that in just a second because Woody Johnson also, according to this report, blocked Bryce Huff's extension wishes. Whoa. I mean, that's just crazy. It's insanity. That man was the Jets' leading sacker last season. Mind you, the New York Jets have struggled to produce at pass rusher for quite some years now. We hadn't have a decent pass rusher since John Abraham. That's why we were all excited about Bryce Huff, and then we go into the offseason and can't get a deal done with him. He goes to Philadelphia for a deal that the New York Jets could have easily as matched, and everyone was confused. Well, according to this report, Woody Johnson was involved in that. He was involved in allowing Bryce Huff to walk away. Speaking of pass rushers, according to this report, Woody Johnson also was involved in the situation with Hassan Riddick because Hassan Riddick, according to this report, held out after Johnson refused to negotiate his contract. You know what's crazy about that? Is again, we were having discussions around that time, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Everyone was all over Hassan Riddick. Oh, you promised the Jets things. You didn't get it done. You didn't show up like you said you would and all these things. And I kept saying, I hear what folks are saying. I hear, Jets fans are upset about this situation. But there's also other reporters as well coming out and saying that Hassan Riddick's side told people that the Jets promised Hassan Riddick an extension and that they promised Hassan Riddick to get something done. And when he got in the building and wanted to negotiate things, it didn't happen. And that's why he held out. Well, this report lends credence to Hassan Riddick's side. It does. The report continues on to say things like Tyron Smith and Mike Williams were signings that were driven by Woody Johnson. Also that Woody Johnson pulled to make sure that the trade for Davante Adams happened. He was the one that pushed for that. We'll see what happens as this situation continues to unfold. How much longer is Davante going to be here? That's a big question, right? Samini even lends credit to something else within this report as well. This report states that Woody Johnson was behind the benching of Tony Adams against the Colts, against the defensive staff's wishes. Whoa. Wow. That's crazy. That's completely crazy. Why in the world would you do that? As an owner, why are you involved in those type of decisions with the football team? You've never been a defensive coordinator in your life. I don't even think you've never even coached a high school team, Woody Johnson. Why are you telling the defensive staff who has gone through the week, presumably with Tony Adams as the guy that they thought was going to be their starter, he's in the game plan and everything, and then you tell them to bench him, and now you got Mills out there? Why would you do that? It's insanity. Also, the report says that Aaron Rodgers, will not return because Woody Johnson wants to move on from him. And that's part of the report as well that's eye-opening because the New York Jets have nothing after Aaron Rodgers. Nothing. They have no franchise quarterback. There's nothing here. If Aaron Rodgers walks out the door, which I believe he will, because clearly the Jets are going into a rebuild, he's not going to stick around for that. The Jets will fall into an abyss at quarterback. We'll be right back in the same situation that we were before Aaron Rodgers got here. Nothing. If you're a general manager or a head coach right now in the NFL, right? If you're a general manager or a head coaching candidate, why would you come to the New York Jets? Why would you come to be undermined by a meddling owner that is going to stick his nose all in your business constantly? Why would you do that if you're a top head coaching or a general manager candidate? Why would you do that? Why? The New York Jets are literally the worst destination right now in the NFL for any potential general manager or head coach. Because not only do you have to battle all the outside forces, right? The fan base is going to be all over you. It's New York, so you're everywhere. And then the media is going to attack you as well. And we'll get to just a second. We'll talk about the media attacking people. But now you got to deal with the owner that's constantly meddling. And again, this is not something new. This is not something new. We know that Woody Johnson is a meddling owner because he's been doing it for years. Anybody remember when Rex Ryan and Mike Tannenbaum was trying to put the team together to push forward and get into the playoffs and handle business? And you know, we haven't seen any real success since then, right? 2 AFC championships back to back. And while they were trying to put the team together and handle business, Woody Johnson was trying to bring Tim Tebow to the squad so he could sell jerseys. That's what we do here. Speaking of the media, when Joe Douglas was fired, anybody remember Manish Mehta, former New York Jets beat writer, believes with the NY Daily News? He went on a complete tirade on social media, going off on Joe Douglas, letting him have it. So much so, Manish Mehta leaked Joe Douglas's personal phone number on Twitter. If you think that I'm lying, it's out there. This is insanity. Look at the dysfunction. Everything surrounding the New York Jets completely dysfunctional at this point. If you were a top head coaching candidate, if you were a top general manager candidate, why would you come to the New York Jets? This would be the last destination you would come to. Also, if you're a player, and we're getting to the lines in a second, 515-602-9639, 515-602-9639. Also, salutes to the Savages in the chat. Give me your thoughts. We will be coming to y'all tonight. If you're a player in the NFL, a free agent, why would you come here to the New York Jets, seeing this dysfunction play out? Also, if you're on the New York Jets roster, currently a player, why would you stay here, watching this dysfunction play out as well? Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Breece Hall, Jermaine Johnson, heck, even Devontae Adams. There are guys that are here. Why would they stay here? All those young guys, a couple of those young guys I just named, Breece, Sauce, Garrett, why would they want to stay here with everything that's going on? Hell, you look at Garrett Wilson, you can tell that man wants out of here. He's not gonna scream and say it, but you could tell he want to be gone. He talked about and vented in his frustrations last season. Right? Devontae Adams just came from a place where he felt like they weren't prepared to win or do anything. We're going to a full-blown rebuild. Why would he stay here? Especially with Aaron Rodgers out the door, according to this report. Man, we got a lot to discuss. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. There's a lot to talk about, man. And again, this report, and I know Rosenblatt and Rossini in the past, a lot of people have been like, they've got an axe to grind. But there's a lot of other Jets beat writers, people that cover the Jets, that are coming out and lending credence to a lot of things that was said in this report. It's wild. It's completely wild. Again, the Jets lost to the Colts 28-27. That was a rough loss. Season's done. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know the direction of this football team at this point. I don't know what's going to happen here. We're going to get to these lines again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking all callers again. Please give the stream a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. Man, it's a rough time to be a Jets fan. It truly, truly is. Because what the future holds, who knows? And until Woody Johnson is willing to get out of the way, we're always going to be stuck in this constant cycle. That's what's going to happen. We can't fire him like we fired the general manager or the coaches or gotten rid of players. We can't get rid of him in the same light. No, sir. It's going to be an interesting road going forward. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. First caller I'm going to. 415, I'm coming directly to you. Val, I will come to you next. Other callers, hold on, okay? But we got to get to 415. I know we're talking here. 415, give me your name, where you're from, and give me your thoughts about reports swirling about Joe Douglas.
LBJ, this is Dean.
Hold on, Dean. Let me show you some respect, okay? For those of you that do not know, this man Dean, listen, he's a savage. Savage. Dean salutes, okay? Man, there are so many things going on here with the New York Jets. We lost to the Colts. Our season is effectively over. I don't think there's ever been a team that's made the playoffs at 3-8. Joe Douglas gets fired. Now we got this report coming out swirling. Man, what are your thoughts about this situation here with the Jets at this point?
Wow, I mean, it's ugly getting uglier. But you kind of framed it really well. You're like, hey, a lot of people are asking what general manager, what head coach would want to come to New York, and if they'd be out of their mind. Given our owner, right, meddlesome owner. But even worse, you were also saying, why should the players stay? But I'm going to take it another step further. Other than, everybody watches your show, listens to your show, those are avid Jets fans, ain't going to go nowhere. Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of fans out there, we have friends included, that are questioning why should they stay.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought I'd call on your show.
Go ahead, Dean.
And just kind of like stream of consciousness here. I think I'm going to call myself Reverend Dean, because if we think about it logically, I can't make a good case to stay anymore. I mean, unless we get, like the Wilpons coupons to sell the team to the rich Uncle Stevie, that doesn't happen every day. We're kind of stuck with Woody. So Reverend Dean is going to postulate, say, hey, listen, all we can do here is look at the conditions. It seems that New York, the fans, and also the media are just negative, right? Because they've been conditioned for decades. But if we remember when 1969 we had the Mets and the Jets victories, they were a pretty ugly baby. They were a pimply-popply ugly baby back then. And then they had no pressure, and they crystallized into these champions. So I think the pressure comes from the outside in, and we get great players, and we just, I don't know, take top sirloin and put it through the sausage machine, and it comes out through a dumpster fire. It's awful. So if we can be spiritual for a moment, I think I got the solution. And this is crazy. Mm-hmm. But I think we just need to collectively, individually remember why we got this Jets disease in the first place. An introduction from our father or our uncle, and we just fell in love with this ugly baby and just own it and look at it from an entertainment perspective. Because I got my one little childhood story I'm going to lay on you. When I was a kid, I watched Peter Pan in the theater. Yeah, I must have been, 5 years old. And I was crying because Sandy Duncan had the lead role of Peter Pan, and she's a woman, and girls got cooties, and what the hell? So I wouldn't stand, I wouldn't clap. But as the show went on, she turned into Peter Pan, and then Peter Pan, he couldn't, get couldn't fly. He lost his pixie dust. Unless we stood up and we clapped and we believed. And I clapped my little goddamn hands like she couldn't believe it because I believed. And that's what we have to do. We have to be a child. We have to love the team, and we just have to love it for what it is. Because if you think about Woody Johnson, you ain't going to get any sleep. All right, so that's Reverend Dean's sermon for the day.
No, listen, thank you, kid Dean. And I understand, what you're saying, but and I'm never gonna not be a Jets fan. Okay, it's over. I've even been offered in the past, and even currently now, there's definitely people contacting me saying, "Hey, Joe, it's time for you to move on. Come on and be a part of this fan base," and I've declined every last one of them. But I tell you what, Dean, when you talk about trying to turn a team around and trying to set your franchise straight, it is tough to do that when you have an owner the ilk of Woody Johnson and Chris Johnson, for that matter. When you look and you hear about some of the things that this report has said that's been put out, and again, there's a lot of credence being lended to it from other beat writers as well that are not known for trying to get explosive, flashy, unnamed sources. They're not the Manish Metas. No, they're not. And they're saying, yeah, this stuff is, I've heard from my sources, and that this stuff is real. It starts to make you wonder, well, how do the Jets turn things around if they can't build a solid foundation? Because that's what we thought we had with Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas, because we were coming from a place of Mike Maccagnan and Adam Gase where things just completely were crazy because the foundation was not set. And we believed that we had found that. And Woody Johnson and other factors completely have destroyed that, and that's gone. And so now as we're looking the other way and we're trying to figure out, Dean, if you're a person within the Jets organization and you're trying to sell a head coach or a general manager candidate to come here, how would you do that?
Yeah, no, like I said, logically, you just can't do that because let's look at JD. Once he whiffed on a quarterback and a left tackle, then he was vulnerable to, the back pages and the attraction that Woody had to go get Aaron Rodgers. And once he did that, that game of Jenga was all coming down.
Yeah.
So the next guy coming down the pipe, he's going to say, hey, if I have any other option, I'll take it. There's 32 teams. I'm going to try to avoid the Jets. Even Jacksonville looks better.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's rough.
That's
what are your
why
thoughts?
I'm Reverend today. I'm going with faith over facts.
What are your thoughts about, again, according to this report, Woody Johnson getting involved and stopping Bryce Huff's extension wishes, and also getting involved with Hassan Riddick's situation, refusing to negotiate his contract? What are your thoughts about that?
All of that is just mind-boggling. Like the greatest travesty, though, is Tony Adams. What the hell? Does he really think he's a defensive coordinator? By the way, 22 is my favorite number. I love his story. Crazy. But, okay, like if he didn't want to go with the 1 year that Bryce Huff had and, roll out the, sign him up, if that was his one thing, I could give him, some grace and say, okay, it's defensible. But when you look at it entirely with all the other, death by paper cuts, it's really damning. And no general manager in their right mind wants to come here. So we either cut ourselves off by forcing a head coach on a general manager, or now we're forcing, an owner on a general manager. So we're going to keep playing my favorite country western artist, Slim Pickens. So we're going to get the bottom of the barrel.
It's wild, man. It's wild. And, according to the report again.
There's one saving grace we have here.
Go ahead.
Woody is sufficiently embarrassed and he has money. And if we can finally get somebody who has, a rich history, kind of like a Parcells, to come in here and keep Woody in his box. I love Scooby-Doo? We would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for that meddlesome owner. If we could keep that meddlesome owner in the box with, a bigger-than-life, I've been there, done that, Gruden or Parcells or Pete Carroll, I know we're not going to get Parcells, but you know what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's the one thing that could right the ship. And I don't know who's out there that could kind of legitimize and fill that role.
Yeah. You know
But
what's
throw
crazy?
money at him is what I'm saying.
You know what's crazy about that, Dean? Joe Douglas was supposed to be that guy.
What?
Remember? When we got Joe Douglas, the reason why people, and I was extremely excited as well as every other Jets fan, was he was the guy that had been there and done that. He was in Philadelphia, was instrumental in building that football team, instrumental in the draft, instrumental in creating success surrounding that team, the Super Bowl, all that stuff. He was coming in here and was that guy that was supposed to stop Woody from going full Woody. And that didn't happen.
He was the number one GM at the time.
Yes,
we only
absolutely.
got him, ironically, through Adam Gase.
Yes, yes, which is crazy.
Crazy.
Which is crazy. So,
but
I don't know.
The problem is he came from great pedigree. He came from great pedigree, but he never built that offensive line, which is the cookie cutter we were all expecting from Philadelphia and Baltimore. We would get Baltimore's hand-me-downs. That's the best he could do.
Yeah. No, yeah, listen.
He always said he wanted to build in the trenches, but he iced the cake before it was baked because too many years went by whiffing on the offensive line and injuries, and then he left himself vulnerable to Woody doing what Woody does.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. So before I let you go, Dean, this has been
here we are again.
This has been a phenomenal call from you. Give me your thoughts, man, on at this point, what general manager or GM would you like to see, here with the New York Jets? And also, really quickly, what are your thoughts on moving on from Aaron Rodgers?
I think Vrabel would be our best case scenario. Oh, Aaron Rodgers, there's no room for him. He put it out there very bluntly. Hey, I want continuity. I don't want change as far as like the GM, the owner, or the GM, the coach, and the playbook. Well, he doesn't have continuity in New York, so I expect he's gone and Devontae with him. And then I thought Vrabel would probably be our best case scenario. I like Todd Monken, but I can't see, given the history, him entertaining that.
Yeah.
If we have to go with somebody's new to head coaching, I would probably go with Glenn. He's a New York Jet, and he's earned his stripes. Yeah, I think that if he could bring in a good offensive coordinator, if he could, get that good vice president, I'd vote on his ticket.
Okay. Listen, Dean, it was phenomenal speaking to you. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right? And listen, tell Mateen, okay? The door is open anytime. Tell him to come on as well. I really enjoy speaking with him as well too. Also, can you tell people about your fan club before you leave as well, just so they can get involved?
Hey, I appreciate that. So anybody's up in the Bay Area, San Francisco, please stop by. We're always at the Rec Room, which is on California and Hyde, and lots of Jets fans there. We've been around for, a long time. LBJ could attest, and we'd love to see you there. You can also find us on Facebook. Take care.
Yes.
Thanks again.
Thank you so much for calling in, Dean. Listen, that was a phenomenal call from Dean. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. This is a rough time to be a New York Jets fan. It truly, truly is. Salutes to all the savages in the chat. Val, I will come to you next. Sit tight. Okay, you are next. New callers as well. Hold on. We're getting to everybody. 515-602-9639. Christopher Phillips says, not calling in tonight. I think this franchise is officially dead. 40 years of rooting for this franchise. This is rock bottom. I need a week to take this all in. Wow. I get it. I get it, man. It's crazy. Completely crazy. Todd, salutes to you. Todd says, I think the new GM is going to trade some guys, possible trade Sauce, running back Hall, potential trades, because Hall is backed up by a guy that's on the come up, and Sauce because he struggled. It's going to be strange. Next year's, I'm telling you, all the moves that the Jets are going to have to make, never mind the fact that if you move it on from Aaron Rodgers, you're going to eat a lot of that dead money on his deal. Baby, let me tell you something. We owe Aaron Rodgers a lot of money, man. A lot of money. They're going to have to break that up into multiple years that deal is going to hound the New York Jets for quite some time. And it's not like you can just trade Aaron Rodgers, because a lot of people don't want to eat that deal. So you're going to have to end up eating something or some of it and try to recoup some type of capital if you're really trying to move on from him. A third rounder, hopefully maybe a second rounder, but a third rounder, something. And you're going to have to eat a lot of dead cap too. A lot. Man. One of my favorite sayings, I think it's Jay-Z. He said, it was all good just a week ago. He lost Todd E, but we still eating though. Anybody remember Aaron Rodgers running out with that flag that Monday night? It's been downhill ever since. Oh, man. Salutes to GM in the chat. GM says, Woody in his prime, James Dolan in the early 2Ks. Oh, Dolan had the Knicks just, oh. Salutes to Cobra Kai. He says, if they get rid of Rodgers, then what the heck are they going to do with Devontae Adams? Yeah, Devontae's going to be gone too. Devontae's going to be gone too. Salutes to Brendan. Man, oh man. Larry Edwards, salutes and respect to you as well. Larry Edwards, Savage in the chat, says, go get Vance Joseph or Brian Flores and give them 6 years. You got to get your general manager first. There's been a lot of names thrown around. Vance Joseph being one of them. Some people are screaming about Flores. A lot of people talking about Ben Johnson. But now with all of this stuff coming out, right? All these reports surfacing, all this going on, you got to wonder, why would those guys come here? Why? Everybody forgets, and Val, I'll come to you in a second. Everybody forgets that before Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas, the Jets were not landing top head coaching or general manager candidates. That was not a real thing with the New York Jets. Does anybody remember we hired Mike Maccagnan? He was just a guy. He was just a guy. He made no decisions in Seattle. We hired him. They hired him because they thought he did. And you saw the job he did coming here. Does anybody remember how we ended up with Adam Gase? We were supposed to actually get the coach that ended up with the Panthers, but he didn't want to come here because they were trying to tell him who should be on his staff and manipulate him in different ways. And he said, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with this dysfunction. I'm out of here. That's how we ended up with Adam Gase, because he was the only guy that didn't care about the dysfunction, and he was the only guy that was willing to take the job. And Adam Gase is the worst head coach the New York Jets have ever had in their franchise history. This is how you end up where the Jets have been. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. I'm taking all callers. If you're a Jets fan, I have nothing but love for you. Nothing but love for my Jets brothers and sisters. I hope you don't leave. Please stay with us. We're going to get through it. But this is rough. Next, we're going to Val. We're going to Val, and let me tell you, for those of you that do not know, the circus has begun. Dun, 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 dun. Savage! Savage! Val, salutes. I know you have a lot to say. There's been a lot of things going on. All right. A lot of people have been after me because I haven't had a live show in a little bit. I apologize, everyone. But we're here now, right? At the perfect time. At the perfect time. Okay. Jets lose to the Colts.
I thought you got fired too. I was like, man, did Woody Johnson fire Joe too?
He's been undermining me. You know what?
You get fired. You get fired.
Woody Johnson undermined me. Woody Johnson is the guy secretly running Blog Talk. I know it. Now I know it. It does make sense. He did try to get me fired. Yeah, he did. He did. No. Yeah, I've been away for a little bit. I apologize, y'all. But here we are, right? And we're sitting here after a Colts loss. Okay, we're 3-8 now. Playoffs is out of reach. You know, and then we hear Joe Douglas is fired. It's like, okay, some people were hip hip hooray for it. There was a lot of people that were saying, I don't know if this is the right decision for the New York Jets. I mean, you can make an argument. I would have preferred Joe Douglas to stay, but you can make an argument for him to be fired. But then we see other things surface, Val. Report comes out about all of the wild dysfunction that is going on within the New York Jets, and it is crazy, man. What are your thoughts about some of the things that we've seen in this report? Let's start here. The report, the part of the report that says that Woody Johnson had a meeting with the staff and the coaches after that Broncos loss to bench Aaron Rodgers. What are your thoughts about that, man?
Okay, here we go, Joe. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I would have never did it that game. I would have probably did it that Vikings game. But it's kind of crazy that he actually had a meeting and actually had that, because that was the third game.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, that second game was the Patriots game. And Aaron Rodgers actually looked good in that second game, which was the Patriots game. Or that was the third game. I forgot which game it was. But it had to have been like 2 or 3.
The Patriots game was the third game. The Broncos was the fourth.
Okay, yeah. So he played good that very third game. The second game was a little shaky with the Titans and stuff like that. So we got the timeline down. All right, good.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, the Denver game was terrible. But if you're going to have a staff, and I heard that he actually told Robert Saleh to bench Aaron Rodgers, and he just didn't want to do it, according to the report.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he was like, they was basically saying, are you serious about this? And they just didn't want to do that. So, like I said, for me, I would have probably benched him after the Vikings game because I feel like that was one of the worst performances in the first half. For the second half, he got it together and everything, but it's just been downhill ever since until the Texas game, But I would have probably did it in the Texas. I would have did it in the Vikings after the Vikings game. But at the same time, this is the person that y'all went to go trade for.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like the backlash and everything. I don't think it would have been worth it to do it that early, to be honest with you, because it would have been a ripple effect after that, And then on top of that, you just fired Robert Saleh after the Vikings game, because I knew he was going to get fired, but I didn't think Woody Johnson had the
stones to do it in season.
Actually, yeah, the stones. I what I wanted to say. The stones to actually fired Robert Saleh, because he never fired people mid-season. I mean, he has, but never the head coach and never the GM or anything like that to that extent. So this is like a whole brand new situation that's going on right now with the Jets.
Yeah.
So
here's my question, right? Or here's my thought on this situation. I don't mean to cut you off because I really want to hear from you.
No, go ahead.
Why are you, as an owner, you've never coached on any level ever, not a Pee Wee football team, nothing. Why are you, as an owner, meddling in roster decisions? Why are you doing that? Okay, look, has Aaron Rodgers had some rough games this season? Yeah, he has, right? But he's been the least of the issues this season. There's been a lot of other issues that have been way greater than Aaron Rodgers. The offensive line at times has been really bad. Tyron Smith has been a big part of that. Not thank goodness, because again, Tyron Smith is now hurt, and that's why Olu's getting the start. But if you want somebody that should have been benched,
allegedly,
yeah, okay, and we'll get to that too, because there's a lot of people saying that he's not hurt. But Val put it out there.
Greg Zuerlein.
Okay, but
it's like Greg Zuerlein, allegedly injured.
Okay, so. But why are you meddling in roster decisions? Because if you're going to go down that road and do that, then what did you hire Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas for? Why do you have a front office, a team president, or any of these guys? Why do you have a guy, a director of football operations? Why don't you just run everything? Why don't you just sign the guys? Why don't you draft the guys? And then why don't you coach them? That becomes the question.
Now,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Val.
I got the answer for you. According to the reports, Woody Johnson went to Robert Sala's face and said, "I didn't hire you. My brother did." So
Yeah.
that's kind of what it is as
Yeah.
well too. And on top of that, another of the reports was saying that, and again, I don't know how these reports are.
Mhm.
So we got to kind of wait how time goes on, because we heard about these reports. Remember last year with Robert Saleh,
Yeah.
how he was worried about with social and in the media and everything, and how he didn't really like Zach Wilson. So we got to see how things, this is really fresh and stuff.
Mhm.
But I'm going to just go off the reports and stuff as well, too. But that's something to keep in mind as well, too, because, again, this is New York, and they love putting out stories, and they love putting out narratives and everything. So it could be true, and it cannot be true.
Mhm.
But I'm going to say this. Woody Johnson, he basically said that he came out and said, "This is the best assembled roster that we had in almost 25 years of me owning this team,"
Yeah.
and everything like that.
Mhm.
And he wasn't saying it like they was basically saying it. He wasn't saying it like Joe Douglas put this roster together. He's basically saying it like he put this roster together. So it was kind of a double-edged sword on that as well too. So that's the craziest part about it. I would say.
Man, I tell you what, the last time that we saw Woody Johnson making moves in this franchise was when we wanted them to stop making moves here, bringing in guys like Tim Tebow, just doing ridiculous stuff. Over the years, we've seen this consistently from them. And that's why I say,
Yep.
again, you can take this report with a grain of salt, right? Because a lot of people go, Rossini, Rosenblatt, I'm not listening, because they have made reports in the past. And some of those reports, though, have come out to be true. Okay? I'm going to put that out there.
Okay.
Some of those reports have, and I'm talking solid evidence, have come out to be absolutely true. There was reports about Zach Wilson. There's reports about issues with that. And some of those reports have absolutely panned out to be completely factual. Now, the rest of them, we'll see. Time will tell. Okay? But I tell you what, when you're seeing other, beat writers come out and lend credence to the things that they're saying, that becomes eye-opening, especially a guy like Rich Cimini. And that's why I want to ask you about this. Rich Cimini, also said that Woody Johnson benched Tony Adams against the Colts, against the defenses, the staff switches. What are your thoughts about that, man?
Right.
You got a guy coming down out the owner's box telling you, do not start the starting safety because of whatever. And now you got Mills out there, getting cooked. I mean, what are your thoughts about this, man?
I mean, that's kind of crazy. I can't even lie, because that doesn't really make any sense at all. And that's what I'm saying. I don't know how these reports are, but if that's true, that's crazy. That is really crazy.
Cimini
Because
said it
Tony
too.
Adams, Tony Adams is really good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say he's like the greatest safety or anything,
Mhm.
but he's definitely been really good for us and stuff. And Mills was actually good as well too in the Steelers game. He tackled a couple of times. Definitely an off game, this Indiana Colts game. That was horrific. We ain't gonna get started with that.
Yeah.
But that report is really, I hope that's not true. But yeah, he should not be voicing any opinion on defensive, who should start and who should not start.
Mhm.
And, especially on the defensive end, because you have no knowledge of who, you're not even a defensive headed coach.
Mhm.
So how can you tell somebody to not start or to start, so it just doesn't make any sense, because you don't even know the schemes that they're going to run or even have game plan against the Colts.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make no sense.
And even again with him, and speaking about, being on that defensive side of the ball, him, basically stopping the extension of Bryce Huff because he didn't, want to grant Bryce Huff his wishes on the extension. And also in this report too, it comes out that he was the guy that didn't want to negotiate the contract extension for Hassan Riddick, and that's what led to the holdout, which again lends credence to what Hassan Riddick was saying. Like Hassan Riddick's side literally said, hey, we came into the building, trying to get something done, and it didn't happen, so that's why we held out. Well, this report is saying that exact thing, and I'm stunned, Val. I'm stunned because I thought we were past this. Remember, that's why Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh were here, because we were coming off of a situation where it was completely allowed for Woody Johnson / Chris Johnson to make decisions for this franchise, get their hands involved in football operations. And where did that lead? That led to the road that wound up in Adam Gase land and Mike McCagnonville. That's where that road went. It went right through those two towns. And let me tell you something. That was a horrible place to be. Okay? A general manager that had no clue of what he was doing at all, right? And a coach that should have never been here with the New York Jets, but it happened because he was the only guy that was willing to take the job and deal with all of the dysfunction of the New York Jets just to get his foot in the door. And I'm very concerned about the New York Jets' future, Val, because if you you hear about other things that's coming out too. Aaron Rodgers, we're moving on from him, according to this report. And I would think that we're moving on anyway because we're doing a full-blown rebuild. It looks like that's where we're going, right? And one of the reasons, or two of the reasons that Aaron Rodgers came here was Robert Saleh 1 and Joe Douglas 2. Neither one of those guys are here anymore.
And Nathaniel Hackett 3.
Yeah,
the only one that's holding on is Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah,
he's hiding somewhere.
No, you ain't gonna hide from. You can't hide from Woody. The long arm of the law. You can't hide from Woody, baby. Okay, you can't hide from that Johnson money. They gonna find you, dog, and get you up out of here too. I'm surprised he's still on the staff, but I'm concerned about the future of the Jets, Val, because if you look at our situation, I think we're probably the worst destination for a head coaching candidate, a top head coaching candidate, and also a top GM candidate. I can't see why one would come here. What are your thoughts on that? And how would you sell a top candidate to come to the New York Jets? What would be even a point that you could sell them on to want to come here and build this franchise?
Promising young talent. I'm going to say it like this, promising young talent. And probably that's going to be here or not be here because we got them for 1 year and stuff like that. That's why it's very important. And I understand why they fired Joe Douglas now so they can start doing their research of who they want going forward for the GM so they could get ahead of it now and have the vacant spot open. And I understand a lot of stuff that you was saying and a lot of stuff that's definitely felt on Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh. Because, again, if we want to go back to, like, 2 years ago, before, the Aaron Rodgers and everything like that, they didn't help their case either because, remember, we only had to win we played 6 games. All we had to do was win one game and we was in the playoffs. One single game. And we went 0 for 6. And that is another that's another reason why Joe Douglas, he never took care of the backup position when it came to the quarterback position. He never really utilized it as he was supposed to. Get a capable backup quarterback because they didn't have that much trust in Zach Wilson. Mm-hmm. Zach Wilson was getting benched 3 to 4 times. Had you had probably a Tyrod Taylor, you would have won at least one game. We would have been a wild card in position, and we would have been in the playoffs, and he would have possibly had an extension. But had you going, your record is 30 to 64. That's not a good record to have. And it's like, I really can't, like, now that your back was against the wall, you're back against the wall, that you finally got a lot of players and stuff. You actually, made some good acquisitions to the team and everything, and also got a backup quarterback. And even, I feel like this is probably the best quarterback room besides the Aaron Rodgers play that is not really that good. Mm-hmm. I would say this is actually the best quarterback room that we had in a long time. Mm-hmm. But had he took care of this before then, we would have definitely been in a different position that we are right now. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of on Joe Douglas as well, too. So, hopefully he learns from his mistake. But I can't say, like, he should have never been fired. He didn't help his case at all. And Robert Saleh, blaming the rain and blaming the wind and having all these excuses after the game doesn't help him as well, too. And on top of that, not playing the players when it's mini camp and in preseason when your team is not prepared and you have to go against San Francisco. And then you even brought it up in your video because I watched it. Mm-hmm. The penalties. The
Yes.
penalties was horrific.
Yeah.
Like, he never got the penalties handled throughout the whole years that he's been here, and it's just been so long, and it's just been really bad. So Woody Johnson's probably like, you know what, these guys do not know what they're doing. And he said before the the season started, that listen, I'm holding everybody accountable this year because if things doesn't go right, I'm gonna step in. He basically said that it was a playoff mandate,
Mhm.
and so I didn't know he was gonna fire everybody in mid-season because he didn't have the stones to do that, because Adam Gase was basically here the whole time, and we
The whole time.
like horrific. Like he needs to be fired. He
Mhm.
needs to be gone. And Woody Johnson was like, oh, we don't do that. My history, I don't fire head coaches mid-season, and we waited to the end. So, and that's what the case was. But this was a whole different situation. Joe Douglas has been here since 2019, before the pandemic. He's been here for 6 years. You had Robert Saleh, that the person that he hired was here for 4 years, 4 to 3 years or something like that. So, it was basically time, and I will say the team is good, but the coaching was bad. The coaching was bad, and I feel like Joe Douglas should have definitely did a better job, But I can't, like I said, he was in a thin line with me as well too.
Yeah. No, listen, and I've spoken about this. I think that Joe Douglas is a solid general manager, but the areas where I think
absolutely, I agree with that.
The areas where I think he messed up are the areas that will basically just lead to you losing.
Offensive line.
Yeah. Quarterback. Well, first off,
offensive line.
First off, coach, quarterback, offensive line. That's it. Coach, quarterback, offensive line. That's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Listen, Robert Saleh, I don't think was a horrible coach, but there was a lot of issues, and particularly on the offensive side of the ball under him, that never got fixed. The defense, for the most part, Robert Saleh being here, was great. Right? Once that defense was what had us all raring to go, saying, okay, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is here. We've solved this issue. We're going to go out there and let the elite defense do its thing, and all he got to do is just score like 20, 21 points. We're going to be in the playoffs easy. We're going to win 12, 13 games
and Joe,
easy.
Not to cut
Didn't
you
happen.
Off. Another
Didn't
thing.
happen. Go ahead.
Complacency. It was complaciveness, Joe. Like, even when it came to this kicker, like, you see the kicker situation, why did it take us 3 to 4 weeks to just find a kicker? That didn't make no sense. We lost a lot of games, and it's complacentness. Just like last year, going back to last year, the quarterback position, we had Zach Wilson, he gets benched, and then we had Tim Boyles. Like, who the heck is Tim Boyles? And then as soon as he came into play, then we just waited so long to get a backup quarterback. And then as soon as that happened, which was Trevor Siemian, we actually started winning some games. It wasn't all that well, but we had somewhat good quarterback play to a certain extent, below average.
Well,
but we was actually scoring some touchdowns.
Well, I think the biggest
but it's
issue.
The complacentness.
Yeah, the biggest issue last season was it wasn't even the backup quarterback situation was bad, but it was still issues with the offensive play calling. It was Nathaniel Hackett that was the bigger issue. His play calling was horrific. And so it didn't matter who it was because honestly, once Zach Wilson left, the standard was still terrible. Trevor Siemian and Tim Boyle were terrible. But again, you could argue, listen.
Who wanted Nathaniel Hackett?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of talk about who could have, but at the end of the day, he was brought in, and you can put that on Joe Douglas. But there was a lot of talk that, hey, look, he was brought in because Aaron Rodgers was coming. And that was that. And that, again, I love Joe Douglas, but those 3 mistakes, not the coach being fired in season, even though I liked Robert Saleh a lot, there was issues there. He moves on from him in season, right? Your quarterback position, Sam Darnold was there. He said, I'm going to try for Zach Wilson. That didn't work out. Then you bring in Aaron Rodgers. First year hurt. This year, been up and down. There's been some issues. He hasn't been the biggest issue, but the offense is still not getting it done. Even with him, Devontae Adams, and Garrett Wilson, which is crazy to even say that the Jets offense still struggles with those 3 players on it. It's wild. And like you said, the offensive line. Even though the offensive line this year is better than it has been in the past, Tyron Smith is terrible. Guys are coming around and jacking, they're jacking up Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is playing hurt, and I think
Yep.
he's been playing hurt for quite a bit of time. Real talk. I think he's been playing hurt for a minute. I think he's
agree.
been playing hurt
I
since
kind of
that
agree with that
since
because he
that
can't move.
that Vikings game. Honestly, when they turned him around and
Yeah.
bent his knee up,
Yeah,
I think he's been playing hurt since then. To be completely honest with you, it's wild, man. It's completely crazy. So before I let you go, Val, give me your thoughts, man. Who is your top head coaching and general manager candidate at this point? Who's a guy that you're looking at? You're saying you think will be able to come in here and help the New York Jets and maybe take them to the next level and get them out of this rut.
so I actually have a 4 right now. I have, not in order, Aaron Glenn is one of them. Rex Ryan is 2 if
Ooh,
if Aaron Rodgers comes back.
talk about it. We're
And
gonna
I
talk
know
about
that-
that in a second. Hold on, go ahead. I don't want to cut you off, but that is a very interesting name. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Yep, Rex Ryan. Number 3, I got Brian Flores. And number 4, Joe Brady, because of the offensive side.
Mhm.
And he's a new head coach. I mean, he's going to be a new head coach. But I don't know about him defensively, and I don't think we should go with a 1-year head coach and stuff like that, But I think I want us to have like a person that has history of being a head coach
Mm-hmm.
as well too. So I'm gonna definitely go with them. And another, I'm so sorry, but another thing,
Mhm.
Zach Wilson, you don't get a rookie quarterback, and on top of that, you don't get a rookie head coach, and then you don't get a first year offensive coordinator. That's
yeah.
a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
That was a recipe for disaster. But yeah, and what was you gonna say, Joe?
No, yeah. I mean, that happened. That happened, and we ended up moving on from Mike LaFleur, and things still didn't get better with Zach Wilson. But the thing is, you talked about
The Rex Ryan?
Yeah, you talked about Rex Ryan. That's a very interesting name, and I want to put this take out there because I like to put my takes out early, so people won't. Oh, you copied me, blah blah. I don't copy people. I just get my thoughts out there. One of the reasons why I think Rex Ryan is a valid name for this New York Jets head coaching position. If Aaron Rodgers decides to come back, which again, according to this report, you take it with a grain of salt, it ain't looking like it's happening. But if Aaron Rodgers comes back, right, I think it's a tough sell for a top head coaching candidate to be told this is who your quarterback is going to be. Because if Aaron Rodgers comes back,
Right.
I don't think he's going to want to learn a new system, dog. That's not happening. You're going to have to work on Aaron Rodgers' time.
That's true.
Now listen here. Rex Ryan, he don't care about offense, dog. He don't care. He is the only head coaching candidate I truly believe Rex is not going to get involved in the offensive side of the ball unless he absolutely has to. Because that's how he's been everywhere he's gone. When he was here with us, he did not get involved in the offensive side of the ball until he absolutely had to. And when he did, the year that Tony Sparano was our offensive coordinator, I'll never forget it. He took over the offensive side of the ball, and he literally ran the ball all 3 downs, damn near all game. It was run, punt, run, play action, punt. I'm telling you, y'all can look this up. It was Rex Ryan and Tony Sparano. I think we played the Dolphins, and Rex Ryan took over play calling. He told Tony Sparano what to call, and it was a ton of runs. If you keep Aaron Rodgers here, Aaron Rodgers, Nathaniel Hackett, and whoever, Todd Downing, and whoever else, they take care of the offense. You don't have to get a new system. You bring Rex in here, that defense gonna get fixed, dog. That defense gonna get fixed.
Yes, it is.
It's gonna get fixed.
Yes,
Not only is it
is.
gonna get fixed, but if you ain't with it, he gonna get your keister up out of here. Kerry Rhodes wasn't with it,
He's gonna bring an energy.
bruh, and Kerry Rhodes wasn't with it, and Rex Ryan got his keister out of here fast. I'm talking fast. It was so quick. And everybody was stunned because we were like, oh, Kerry Rhodes, great safety. And Rex Ryan said, I don't give a crap about any of that. He ain't with it. He don't want to tackle. He called him a Holly. They used to call him Hollywood. Get him up out of here. And Kerry Rhodes was a good player, and I know that there was a lot of issues and stuff like that. Between him and Rex Ryan, they didn't see eye to eye. But let me tell you something. Rex gonna fix the defense, and Rex is gonna adjust. He's also one of the guys that has a proven history of being able to adjust his scheme and coach players and make adjustments in the fly of everything. And you can listen to guys like Bart Scott has talked about it. All these guys, how Rex literally he's a
people gonna run through walls,
run through walls, and he's a player's coach. He used to dial up stuff on the sidelines and tell guys where to go. This is where you need to be, and boom, it would work. So let me tell you something, man. That's interesting because I was gonna start talking about that. Rex Ryan is a very interesting name to be brought back or brought into the New York Jets if Aaron Rodgers stays. If he can be brought in, I think that will give the New York Jets life. But the bigger question becomes who your general manager will be, and will they be willing to work with Rex? That's the big thing. Because the last thing I want to see the Jets do is hire Rex Ryan and then try to pair him with some general manager that don't really want him, right? So that's what I'm wondering. Exactly. John Idzik. That was a perfect point. And I'm gonna turn it back over to you, but that's what I don't want to see. But Rex is a very, very interesting name to be brought back here. And again, the Johnsons love him too. They didn't want to fire Rex Ryan. Yeah. They didn't. You look at all the reports. They didn't want to fire Rex Ryan at all, but they had to.
Nope.
They had to at that point. I'll give you the final word. Val. That's my take. I want to put that out there. I will give you the final word. 347. I'll come to you next. Go ahead, Val.
Okay, yeah. So basically, Rex Ryan, I feel like he will bring a culture here. He will bring a new energy here. I feel like, I think Garrett Wilson would actually like Rex Ryan. I feel like a whole bunch. I think he will fix the Sauce situation. I feel like he's gonna treat him like how he treated. I've seen Rex Ryan deal with less and turn them into like not stars,
facts,
but capable players.
Yes, yes.
I can't even imagine. And as soon as he left, those players became nothing.
Can I say something really quickly?
But
I don't mean to cut you off. I want to say that is a beautiful point. There was a year where I think his corners were like
Calvin Pryor.
Yeah, Calvin Pryor. I think he had like Aaron Beasley or something like that. That secondary was terrible. And Rex had the Jets as the 7th best defense in the league. We were literally number 7 that year, and it was terrible. It was full of terrible players in the secondary, and they were number 7 defensively. Like you said, he's done more with less. He literally was literally trying to survive Idzik and his horrific picks. He still had a good defense.
D. Milliner.
It was bad. But I'm sorry, Val. I don't mean it because I want to give you the final word, but I had to break in with that. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying D. Milliner. Lee. What's his name? Lee. Or something like that.
Darren Lee, the inside linebacker. He took him in the first round and traded him. He ended up having to get traded for a 5th rounder after I think Adam Gase was the guy that actually made that decision down the line. Darren Lee ended up getting traded for a 5th rounder. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Crazy.
Oh, no, that's it. And basically, like, I just feel like he's going to bring a culture. The only thing I would say is because Aaron Rodgers, he does have a typical little ego as well, too. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to see how I want to see how the Rex Ryan and Aaron Rodgers relationship would go if things does go wrong and stuff like that. Is Aaron Rodgers willing to listen to Rex Ryan? And, because Rex Ryan, he's going to be vocal. He's going to let you know if you're not doing stuff right. So that's the only thing. But other than that, I feel like he would definitely bring a new energy. And this time around, like Aaron Rodgers, we done the Aaron Rodgers situation. But if Rex Ryan does come here, it's going to be the Rex Ryan way. And hopefully, he takes care of the defensive side. And Aaron Rodgers and whoever Rex Ryan brings as the offensive coordinator can get it together. I feel like this team will definitely get rolling. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And we're going to be talking about that more in the future because the Jets are not in the playoffs. Of course, we're going to continue to talk about games and things here, but this GM and head coaching search is going to be very, very interesting. Listen, Val, I got to slide
and
off.
He has history with Tyrod Taylor.
He
And,
does.
oh, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah,
okay,
I got to slide off. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right? I'm moving and grooving. Thank you so much for calling in, Val.
No problem, man. Have a good one. Everybody hit like, subscribe to Joe. And like I said, every time, if you at the end, everything is false information and defamation of character.
Oh my goodness. Hey man, listen. It's not false allegations. I've never put false allegations on Val ever. It can be proven. Blog Talk sucks, but hey, I can prove these things. We're going to keep getting to these lines. Again, 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. D will get to you in 1 second. I see you, okay? My guy from the Bronx. Hold on. All right? We got to get to the Savages really quickly. Dano Jets, salutes and respect to you. He says, I'd take 2012 Rex or I'd take 2012 Rex or even whatever 2009, right? He says, but I just don't know about 2025 Rex. Plus, he doesn't have his vets to recruit anymore. They are all long gone. Here's the thing, right? There's a lot of guys that have been out of the league for a little bit and got back into the league and been able, to produce here. Everybody's screaming about John Gruden. There's a lot of Jets fans screaming, I want John Gruden. I want him here. His exit from the Raiders wasn't, the best. All right? A lot of things going on with him, and he's been out the league for a minute. And if you look at the work that he did with the Raiders, him and, as general manager, those teams weren't good. And those were players that were handpicked. And he was the guy out there, the coordinator running that banana spider, and that didn't work either. Okay? But still and yet, there's a lot of Jets fans that want him here. And I think he's a name that's definitely out there. Rex Ryan, man, he has a history here. We know that he's taken all the shots that you can take. He knows what it's like. There's just people that belong to a place. And I'm telling you, Rex Ryan belongs to New York. There's just no way around it. He belongs to the Jets, and whether you want him to or not, he belongs to the New York Jets. We see him on TV every time he talks. He never talks about the Bills organization the way that he talks about being a Jet. He still calls himself a Jet. You never hear him talk about the Bills organization like that. He was there too. And I'm telling you, if Aaron Rodgers stays here, if that actually happens, I don't think that there's a coach, right, that you can sell easier on not having much to do with the offense than Rex Ryan. Because if Rex Ryan comes here, that defense is going to get fixed. This defense is going to get fixed, or people going to get up out of here. And we've seen him live do more with less. We've seen that live and in person. So, baby, we're going to be talking that talk. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in, okay? We're getting back to these lines. We're coming to D984. We'll be coming to you. Hold on. I want to hear from you. But we got to get to D. He is on the line. Salutes for those of you that do not know D. He's a savage. Savage! Salutes to you, D. We know you from the Bronx, okay? I got a lot of homies in the Bronx. I got some homies in Harlem. Salutes to everybody in Brooklyn, okay? But right now, we're talking to a man from the Bronx, okay? D, there's a lot of things moving and shaking surrounding New York Jets. Lost to the Colts. We're 3-8. Playoff chase is done here. We see that Joe Douglas gets fired right after that. Reports start swirling about the Johnsons being involved in football operations, doing crazy things. What are your thoughts about this, man? Where do you want to start?
Oh, man. How much time we got?
We got some time, man. Go ahead.
You know what? It was time for him to go, man. The overall record, it reflects everything. I don't know. The Johnsons, they ain't going nowhere. So we need to find somehow, some way. I don't know who's going to be the next GM, but I don't know, man. It's not looking good. It's not looking good.
No, you're right. I mean, as far as me, I'm looking at the situation. I think the New York Jets are the worst destination for any new or any head coaching candidate or general manager candidate in the entire NFL, because you have a meddling owner, the likes of Woody Johnson. And, you know, these reports that have come out from Rossini and Rosenblatt, again, you could take them with a grain of salt because it's Rossini and Rosenblatt, but I'm seeing a lot of other very credible, non-shock article writing. And again, I'm not saying the Rossini and Rosenblatt are kind of, you know, shock jocks or nothing like that. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that are usually not involved in rumors and unfounded sources coming out, lending credence to a lot of these things that Rossini and Rosenblatt are saying. And I want to get your thoughts on just a couple of these things, man. What are your thoughts about, you know, according to these reports, Woody Johnson wanting to bench Aaron Rodgers?
Listen, I wanted to bench him myself. I still want to bench him. If this guy, listen, you got to, let's be honest. Who do you really think is calling this offense? Because I can tell you right now, it's still his homeboy that's still calling this offense.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Hey, listen, you
go ahead. Go ahead.
It's the same thing. We're still not even throwing downfield. The only time, I swear, the only time our offense looked different this whole year where I felt we couldn't be stopped, the Buffalo Bills game. That's the only game that man did not coach. Why is he still on the coaching staff? Do have anybody talk about him? No, they don't talk about him, but he's still calling the plays. I can guarantee you that. That's why the offense still looks the way it does.
I'll tell you what, Todd Downing is taking over. I think a lot of that stuff, though, too, you got to look at is Aaron Rodgers out there calling those audibles. If he don't like something, he has the power to check out of stuff, too. But I tell you, this offense is struggling, and I don't know what to say about it. A lot of talent, but they're just not playing like a team. It's like guys just going out there and not getting things done. What are your thoughts about Woody Johnson, according to this report as well, blocking Huff's extension wishes and also getting involved in Hassan Reddick's situation because, according to this report, he refused to negotiate Hassan Reddick's contract once he was here?
Oh, man, this is all comical, man. I can't drink enough Henny. I'm telling you, Joe. I can't.
It's wild, man. It's wild. And again, these are the reports that's coming out, man.
They didn't want to extend Huff because to them, Huff was nothing but what he was, coming on third downs and cause hell. That's it. But now it seems like it seems smart now because look what he's not doing anything in Philly.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and I hear that. But a lot of the times, that's tough to judge because, again, you look at the flip side. I mean, compared to what, you know, Hassan Reddick was doing in Philadelphia, he's not doing anything here. Look at what he did in Philadelphia. He had multiple back-to-back double sack seasons come here. He hasn't done a lot of that here. There hasn't been that Hassan Reddick impact. We're still waiting on it. Where was that in the last game? Nothing, right?
Yeah, but
when you look at what Bryce Huff was able to do here within this system, handling business, he led the New York Jets in sacks last season. I understand a lot of people, you know, still were saying as well, and I'll give you the last word on this. Look, Bryce Huff, I don't give a crap if he came in on second down, third down, whatever down. That man was coming in, putting in pressure. He had one of the highest pressure rates in all the league. Had one of the he was winning. His success rate at the highest in the league, one of the highest clips, and he led the New York Jets in sacks last season, period. He was getting off. He was the guy that was really putting gas in the engine of the New York Jets. When you don't bring that type of playmaker, when you don't bring that type of pass rush, when you don't bring that type of energy back to your football team, that doesn't make any sense, especially when he's homegrown. When you don't bring a guy like that back, that fought to be here, fought to get here, fought to stay here, fought to be, you know, better in this league, not only does that show that, hey, you're not getting it done, right? Not only does that show that you don't appreciate him, it also shows and it reverberates in the locker room to a lot of people too. It does. That if you put it all on the line for the Jets, they might not pay you. That's a message that can be sent, especially again when he went to Philadelphia for something the Jets could have easily have matched. But I'll give you the final word on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, to me, honestly, it don't matter. This scheme sucks. Everything sucks. They don't adjust to nothing. They don't adjust to nothing. That's why we see the same things every week. We see the same. It's no creativity to this defense. That's why when they let go the coach, I said fine, but I didn't think Albrecht would do any better because it's the same system. It's the same system. I watched the same non-blitzing cover three garbage defense with guys running wide open all day long. It's the same defense. And I know y'all talked about Rex Ryan coming back. Listen, I would love Rex back, not as a head coach. I would love Rex back as a defensive coordinator. But we need an offensive mind on the Jets, man.
I mean, I hear you. I doubt he comes back as a I doubt he comes back as a coordinator. But yeah, we'll see what happens going forward. I know that there's a lot of Jets fans screaming for an offensive mind as well. And there's names out there. Cliff Kingsbury is one of the guys I'm looking at, wondering what's going on. But again, I think a lot of this depends on what actually happens with Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers stays, it's going to be very hard to sell, the Jets' next head coach on being basically stuck with a quarterback. Even though it's Aaron Rodgers, you're still being stuck with a quarterback, right? A lot of guys come in and they want to pick. They want to pick their guy, point blank period. Look at what happened with Sulla, right? Came into the building, said, hey, it's time to move on from that guy. Get Zach Wilson into this building, and that's exactly what they did. I'll give you the final word, man. Who's the coach, who's the head coach and general manager you'd like to see become the New York Jets' next guys to lead here?
The general manager is tough because there's so many people out there, so many names from organizations I wouldn't know. But head coach-wise, honestly, I think we need somebody like Gruden. We need a no-nonsense guy like Gruden. Offensive mind, he's going to bring a nice defense. He can score points. And when guys mess up, they're going to be accountable for it because they'll be sitting on the sideline handing out water. Right?
Okay. I mean, that's a name that a lot of Jets fans are screaming. You look at his last stop with the Raiders. It was rough, and especially his exit out the league. But I tell you what, I hear you. Listen, D, I want to thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, man. We're going to keep moving and grooving. We got some guys on the line, and we got to get to everybody. Salutes to all of the savages in the chat. Again, please give the stream a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. If you want to give to the platform, Super Chat is at the top. Cash App is at the bottom as well, right down there. Anything you give to the platform is greatly appreciated. Next, we're getting to my guy, man, from North Carolina. I know he's going to talk that talk, all right? For those of you that do not know, this man, he's a savage. Savage! Salutes, my friend. I want to thank you for calling in. I know, everybody's been saying, Joe, where you been at? I'm back, baby. We live. We talking that talk. There's been a lot of things going on, man. The New York Jets have lost to the Colts.
Oh, yeah.
New York Jets have lost to the Colts. The playoff chase over. Okay. We're 3-8. Joe Douglas has been fired. I want to get your thoughts on that. Also, there's a report that has just come out and just lit the New York Jets up at this point. Let's start where you want, man. Where do you want to go? You want to start with the Colts loss first? Is that where you want to go, or you want to talk about Joe Douglas?
I'm probably going to Joe Douglas.
Let's go there. What are your thoughts about him being fired?
I knew it was coming, and I knew it was pending to him being relieved of his duties as the general manager. When I saw it flash on my phone on YouTube, it was official. I forgot what Jet channel were posting it, that Joe Douglas had been fired as general manager. It's like, I just put my hands on my head and said, oh, my God, I never imagined this when this season started. I mean, I knew they were on the hot seat, and I understood that, but I still tried to have hope because I remember the high points for Joe Douglas's career, the way he handled the Jamal Adams situation and his draft, where he put together a historic draft with Jermaine Johnson and Sauce Gardner, Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson, and I try to, reminisce back to the high points of his tenure as general manager, and I never seen anyone like him. Finding guys undrafted like Bryce Huff, and I hear you guys discussing that, and just amazing. And it gave me a sense of hope, that we could be good long term, that we could be good years to come. We will continue to add talent, and to just get this news, this sad news for me. I think the firing of Rex Ryan and hearing the firing of Joe Douglas are some of the lowest points for me in the last 15 years.
Oh, man. Yeah. It was rough. And again, in season,
Yeah.
to make these changes in season, it's just like, wow, it's said and done. Now, going to this report from Rossini and Rosenblatt, man, this report has just started to rip through the New York Jets lead again. And I want to ask you, some of these things that we're hearing from this report. It just sounds like massive dysfunction here with the New York Jets behind the scenes, mainly, again, coming from owner Woody Johnson. What are your thoughts about, according to the report, him sitting down and having a meeting, after that Broncos loss with the coaches in the front office to bench Aaron Rodgers, man? What are your thoughts about that?
I think even if technically he's right about benching Rodgers, because for all we know, Rodgers could be dealing with injuries and trying to play through it, and because of that, that's hampering his performance. The ownership technically could be right and wanted to bench him, but it's not his call. That's the reason you have football people.
Exactly.
I mean, as crazy as George Steinbrenner was in his day, he had sense enough to get Gene Stick Michael and Bob Watson. I don't know if you watch much baseball, but he had some top executives, some top front office people to manage him, help delegate and make some of those decisions on the inside. And it helps. The owner, his job to me should be to promote his franchise, stick to the business side. It's not to say he shouldn't attend the meetings, when the GM and the head coach had those meetings, be sitting in the room, which he has every right to do. But to start, meddling in football matters and making those decisions, it shouldn't be his call. He doesn't know enough. He probably hasn't studied. He doesn't have any experience, even though he made the asinine comment about, thought or whatever being overrated and intelligence, but which is kind of off the wall for me to hear that kind of thing said. Not appreciating knowledge. Knowledge is really the key, because if you don't know what you're doing, it can lead to a lot of difficulties. In a lot of areas of life, you don't have that experience, and you don't have the knowledge, so.
Who wants to get bogged down by facts, thoughts, and knowledge? Okay, no, who has time for that? Knowing stuff? No, we ain't got time for that, man. Life is about flying by the seat of your pants and just seeing what happens. Okay, who needs to be well studied? All right, well, listen, you're off base if you think you need to be smart. You don't need to be smart. You just need to go, and you'll figure it out as you continue on. But
and see, that'll work. See, that'll work for guys like Parcells and Belichick, because they already have the foundational knowledge.
Yeah.
So the instincts, it automatically will kick in, and they'll probably make more times than not make the right call, because they already have a foundation, a base, which is knowledge. And then sometimes where they kind of 50-50 and undecided and they have to go by the gut, it can work for them most times because they have the foundation of knowledge and experience, which Woody lacks, you know?
It's mind-blowing.
Without that foundation, it's not going to work,
It's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Now, there's other parts of this report as well.
That's right.
Parts of the report saying that Woody Johnson blocked Bryce Huff's extension wishes. Also that, he was involved in the situation with Hassan Reddick where he refused to negotiate Hassan Reddick's contract, which led to Hassan Reddick holding out. What are your thoughts about that part of the article as well?
You know what? To hear this news, I should have known something was wrong, because with Saleh on this staff, this head coach, I figured he's going to be lobbying hard to keep Bryce Huff.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes with Joe Douglas.
Absolutely.
Joe Douglas, of course, the chain of command, take it to the owner. And I should have known something was wrong. Something was seriously wrong, man.
Yeah, we were
And then
all
the Eagles
wondering
just
why.
jumped in and swooped it right up.
Yeah, and we were all
That's right. I
wondering
knew something
why.
was wrong. So all of this is in line with my own suspicions, you know?
Yeah, we
It's
were
just all confirmed now with these reports.
We were all wondering why at one point. Why would you let Bryce Huff go? Why? And again, this
That's
report
right.
could be
That's
taken
right.
with a grain of salt, okay?
Wow.
But when you have other, beat writers coming out saying, yeah, some of this, this is true, that's true, it starts to wonder. And even the stuff with Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick's representation at the time, was screaming, hey, this is what happened, and so you start to wonder, and I know he's moved on from CAA, but this report is saying that stuff was true. According to that his side, that originally when they were putting out that, hey, he showed up and they were supposed to work on a contract extension, it's like,
That's
according
right.
to this report, it's saying that contract extension was refused to be negotiated by Woody Johnson. So Hassan Reddick initially,
I'm going to tell you something, too.
It's strange.
I'm going to tell you something, too. If this is anywhere true, I believe he was behind the scene pulling strings on the quarterback situation. Everybody was looking at Joe Douglas. I was thinking this all the while in the back of my mind. People think it don't sound like Joe Douglas be that incompetent not to want a decent backup quarterback. Maybe the ownership didn't sign off on it in terms of the price tag and the money. I think there's something to that, too.
It's interesting.
I think there's something to that.
You got to wonder. I mean, he's coming out, Tony Adams, he's benching him before the Colts game. Like that's crazy for an owner to get involved in football operations to that point. And I've been saying it. Why even have a coach? Why have a general manager?
That's
Why?
right.
If you're just going to do this yourself, you
That's
might as
right.
well just be the head coach yourself and do whatever you want to do. Get you a staff of people that listen to you and move forward. It's crazy. Go ahead.
I'm going to tell you something. They tend to throw Jerry Jones' name out there compared to Jerry Jones. He's trying to be George Steinbrenner, but he's not George Steinbrenner. George Steinbrenner had the respect and the sheer all-out fear of his players. I heard Derek Jeter talk about it after his death, how much he respected George and called him Mr. Steinbrenner. Woody Johnson don't have that kind of prestige and honor that George did going to his grave. When he died, that man had a handful of World Series rings and achievement. I thought back after I heard the news of Joe Douglas. I thought about George and how he would have handled things when he bought that team in the early 70s at a low point. And he probably had a vision and a plan. And he executed it exceptionally well. They got swept in the World Series, and then he went on and got Reggie Jackson, won back-to-back. It was just amazing, but people, after time, sometimes time, people think about people like the crazy uncle. And I think that's what's happened in the case of guys like Rex Ryan and stuff. And I'm a little perturbed that people so down on Rex. That's kind of sad to me. That's one of my guys. That's the guy I'm kind of down with returning to the New York Jets.
Well, hold on.
And trying to finish what he started.
Now that's where let's go there, because I want to have that discussion with you as well. I wanted to go there next. What is a head coach, a GM and head coaching combination that you think could be successful here? Who would want to take this job, and who are the guys that you want to see, come here and lead this New York Jets franchise out of this debacle?
You know what? I've heard it thrown around on several Jet channels about a president being assigned and being the best option. Probably have a team president. I think that's probably the best way to go initially. The first phase is to get someone who knows football, someone well respected. I don't know if you heard about the name Curtis Martin being thrown around as somebody brought in to help with the process and probably having a hand in selecting a new general manager. How do you feel about that?
From what they were talking about Curtis Martin, the running back, or the former Jets running back, talking about that. I've heard that name be thrown around. He well respected, Kurt. I held in high regard, and they say he's pulling string too, trying to get an ownership and all that. That's good. I didn't know that. That I mean,
wow.
He's a former Jet great, former guy. That's why a lot of people are screaming for Aaron Glenn as well here. Maybe he could be the guy, but there's other guys as well that I look around the league, and I know they're talking about team presidents and moving things around, but I look at guys like Ray Agnew from the Lions. The things that they've been able to do over there. I remember the Lions were cheeks for years.
Oh yeah.
And they got Dan Campbell in there, and they have put some real talent together, and they are a force to be reckoned with. There's a couple other guys I look around, man. Dorsey as well, I think, is over there with the Lions. I'd be interested in him, man.
That's true.
There's a guy, I forgot his name. It's like Mike something from the Chiefs. There's a guy with the Chiefs too. I know a lot of people are talking about. There's a lot of different options for the New York Jets, but again, you got to wonder how many of those guys would be willing to take this job with an owner that is doing what Woody Johnson is doing. For the Jets to have success and get the right guy into the building, Woody Johnson has to take a step back, man. He has to, because if he doesn't, nobody's going to want to come.
But you know what it is? But you know what it is, too? He's going to need to have to put it out there to get that stuff in writing, that he cannot interfere, that stuff would be in writing and ironclad, examined by attorneys on both sides and agreed upon to get him out of it. And I think he did that and put that out there to the potential GM that it'd be a move of good faith. Because they can't bankrupt the franchise, right? They can't bankrupt them because of the salary cap. Yeah. So they can't spend but so much of his money.
Yeah.
You know, they'll still be restrained, you know, because the salary cap ain't going to let you, it's not going to allow you to spend so much money.
Mm-hmm.
But they can invest a little bit more money when it comes down to getting a good head coach.
Yeah.
You know, Woody tends to be a little cheap, I heard, as far as getting the top tier coaches.
Yeah.
He got to get out of there. You want to invest, get the right people. I mentioned George Steinbrenner. Do you think George Steinbrenner, God rest his soul, be playing around trying to get the best manager for his baseball team? No, because that man was deadly. From what I heard, deadly serious about winning. I heard this after his death. He let it go down to that locker and get in them player faces. He didn't fool around.
Yeah.
He was serious about winning. It's time for Woody to get that mindset, you know, but I don't think he got the same discipline like George. George was a good businessman. He was deadly serious about winning championship. He set a standard. That's what's wrong with Woody. Woody has not set a standard. You have to set a standard. That standard was set by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I looked at their documentary on YouTube a couple of weeks ago. He took about the history of the I tried to look at some of the other teams just to see what they did right. The Steelers, look it up on YouTube, their history. I forgot the name of the video. It was excellent. The 49ers, when they started out before Bill Walsh came in and took over that program and drafted Joe Montana, you need to look some of that up. And it shows you the formula that how these franchises that kind of started off rough, they weren't very good either, but they had to figure it out over time, like the Steelers did in the early part of the 70s. You know, when they first started putting that program, hired Chuck Noll and drafted Terry Bradshaw and put them historic draft class, what they say some of the all-time great ones, the Steelers did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it takes a vision and having a plan. Even Jerry Jones, when Jerry Jones fired Tom Landry, that was a real tough decision. You know, Tom Landry was a legend.
Yeah.
He was a legend. I remember as a kid when I first started watching football, Monday Night Football, early 80s, it was amazing. Texas Stadium, I watched Tom Landry on the sideline. That was a bad man. He was unique. He was innovative with his flex defenses and stuff. And to make that decision was a big decision, and it turned around the Cowboys' fortunes because he did that, brought in Jimmy Johnson. Woody needs to have some of that creative spirit, that as far as a plan and want to put something together to succeed. You can't do this stuff out of the seat of his pants. You must have a plan. You have to have some kind of idea, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's wild. So I want to finish, man, with head coaching candidates. You talked about Rex Ryan. There's a lot of people down on him. I started talking just a little bit. Just a little bit, man. I think Rex could be the guy if Aaron wants to stay.
Few Jet fans, you know what's interesting? I'm glad to hear you speak positively of Rex. You're one of the few Jet fans that has come out and openly advocate for Rex Ryan, which is interesting that you did that. And that's what got me on the phone. I got to call in and get in on this.
Yeah.
You got me, and because I've been on, I'm with you too. I'm one of the only few, and you and me, that think that Rex would be a possible option. Because let's be honest, it's going to be tough to get a head coach in here.
It is,
because I think the damage has been done. I think the way ownership handled things with Robert Saleh and looking at the aftermath of it with Joe Douglas, it's a mess. It's going to be hard to get the kind of caliber of people we want, you know?
Here's the thing, and this is, and again, I listen, for everybody watching me, no matter where you're watching me from, I love having discussions about this football team, and I'm open to, going back and forth or having great, discussions with any Jets fan. It doesn't matter who you are. I tell people all the time, I'm open to collabing constantly. But here's the thing, and you hit the nail on the head. I think people need to start opening their eyes and ears and think about, that there was a time when the New York Jets were not a destination for free agents, general managers, or head coaches. Before Robert Seller and Joe Douglas, that's exactly where we were. That is not that long ago, okay? I remember Mike Maccagnan being hired because nobody really wanted to be here. I remember Adam Gase getting that job because nobody really wanted to be here and nobody would take the job. I remember that. That was not that long ago. So when you look at the damage that has been done, right? It's been known around the league for years that Woody Johnson is a meddling owner. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't want to come here, on top of the fact that you're in New York. It's one of the reasons, right? So here we are sitting at a spot now where you got a report coming out that is absolutely lighting up the New York Jets, and you have other people lending credence to it. If you are a top general manager or head coaching candidate, this would be the last place that you would come. Because now not only do you have to battle the fan base, not only do you have to battle the media. By the way, Manish Mehta literally just leaked Joe Douglas's real phone number on Twitter. If you think that I'm lying about that, you can, look it up. He did that for real. He just did that. Okay? He just did that.
Wow.
So now you got to battle the media that will go to that extent when dealing with you. You got to battle these outside forces, and now you got to battle the owner? The owner will come down and tell you who to bench. The owner will get involved with your contract negotiations when you're trying to retain players that you value or trying to get players into the building that you value. He's the guy he'll get involved and tell you what to do, even though, this is insanity. Joe Douglas himself, he told Joe Douglas so when Joe Douglas, and this was another part of the article, that when Chad, he told Joe Douglas to fire Rex Hogan and then micromanaged him so much, Joe Douglas told the rest of the staff, Woody might as well just fire me right now. He literally said that. That was in the report. He might as well fire me right now. He's micromanaged me. He made me fire Rex Hogan. Even when Chad Alexander, who is one of Joe Douglas's top advisors, left for another job, he blocked Joe Douglas from replacing him. That's part of your organizational structure. According to the report, Woody Johnson did these things. That's a vital part of your organizational structure. Having guys around you that you trust and guys that know football. So why would a general? I'm telling you.
If that's the case, that he.
Go ahead.
I think if that's the case, that he's doing things on that level with some of the staff and stuff, that he don't need to be the owner of the New York Jets.
Exactly.
I've heard that bounced around this week, and I think it's time for him to go. He can't own this franchise.
It's
He's
mind-boggling.
not ready for that responsibility. He doesn't have the mental faculty to make the right calls and right decisions to be an owner. And I don't think he should. I don't think he should own the New York Jets.
I'm telling you.
25 years in, has he not?
Yeah, I'm telling you. Like, everybody's just like, well, Ben Johnson, this guy, that guy. Ben Johnson literally has the world open to him. Why would you come here?
That's true.
You could go to another team. Never mind the fact that, again, depending on what happens with Aaron Rodgers, if that part of the article is true, right? Or let's say Aaron Rodgers stays, then what do you do?
Yeah.
Let's say that part of the article gets set aside. You're going to be told who your quarterback is. There's a lot of issues here. There's a lot of issues
here.
Is. And this roster is not, I am telling you, I do not believe that this Jets roster is going to look the same in these next couple of years. I think a lot of these guys are going to quietly walk out of the door because they've been front row to witness this dysfunction. They've seen it.
That's right.
They've seen it. And not only that, they're tired of losing. For those of you that do not remember, and I want to give you the final word on this.
It's hard.
For those of you who do not remember, one of the reasons why everybody was so hyped about Aaron Rodgers coming here wasn't because the fan base just wanted him. Of course, we all did, right? The players wanted him. So much so, they were coming out on social media. Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, and Sauce Gardner did a full-blown video on social media clamoring and begging for Aaron Rodgers to join the New York Jets. If you think I'm lying, it's out there. And if you think I'm lying, hit me on at the Long Beach Joe, and I will post it again. Because it's on social media. Because they wanted to win. They were tired of losing. They were tired of it.
Yes.
So now this doesn't work out, and you got complete organizational dysfunction according to this article. Bro, they're not going to sign up for this again. Garrett Wilson, I'm telling you, if you could have opened the door at the end of last season with how that last season presser that he did, where he talked about the frustration and how that was the roughest year he's ever had in the league offensively, and that he told us front and center that he let the Jets coaching staff see his frustration, and they allowed him to vent to them. Bro, he looked like somebody had sent his dog into another reality. Seriously. Wow. If you could have opened the door, he would have walked away. Well, now, if Aaron Rodgers bounces, there's nothing. We fall into an abyss at quarterback. If he stays, you're telling a general manager and a head coach that this is going to be your quarterback. That's going to hamper your situation as well. A lot of these young guys, I think they're going to be gone, and they're going to go elsewhere. I'll give you the final word on it.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. But every point, everything you stated here, that's the big concern I have about Joe Douglas' historic draft class basically being gone, and all those players that he invested in, good football players, being gone, and everything being torn down, and then having to back up all over again. I don't know what to say at this point. I'm an old fan. I go back to 1980, and I kind of reminisce, and I cut that Cardinals game off in the fourth quarter. I said they're not doing anything. So I wanted to keep my mind and spirit on the New York Jets. So I said I'm going to look at some of the yearbooks, 1985, 1986, 1988. So I wanted to commemorate my team and keep my mind on my football team and think about and remember what it used to be when it wasn't like this, wasn't this bad, you know?
It's rough. It's rough. And like I said, I know a lot of Jets fans are screaming, don't get another defensive guy. They're screaming, go get this guy, go get Ben Johnson. You got to think about how attractive the New York Jets are at this point. Not very attractive spot.
Yeah.
But especially
not at all. They may have to settle.
Yeah. And I tell you
somebody who's ready to get back in there, like John Gruden
or Rex Ryan.
I wouldn't be surprised if those are your top candidates.
I'm telling you. And let me tell you something, and I'm going to say this again. I'm putting this out there first. This is my take. I'm not saying that I want Rex, just him and nobody else. No, but he definitely is on my list because you can sell him on not having nothing to do with the offense. If you keep Aaron Rodgers, you can absolutely sell Rex Ryan on having nothing to do with the offense and just focusing on fixing the defense. You can sell him on that.
Yeah.
Because that's what he wants to do. We all know that. And then you can figure out what you need to do with your offense and let Aaron Rodgers and Todd Downing, and that would still put you in a position where you can compete. You can still compete.
Oh, yeah.
If the Jets' defense was what we saw, 2 years ago, like that, we would be better. Yeah. We would be much better than we are. The offense is struggle, but we would be in a much better place.
But you know what?
Go ahead. I'll give you the final word.
But you know what? Before I go, I wanted to say something. I almost lost that train of thought. You were making such great points. If Rex Ryan were to agree to return, if I could meet him in person, I would suggest to him to do it the way your father did. Stick with the front four. Look at what we've done with our front four. It's exceptional.
Yep.
He can run those blitzes the way his father did out of that front four. Instead of switching to the 3-4, we have to overhaul so much of the personnel. That's a big personnel. Mm-hmm. You got big linebackers and elephant nose tackle. No, stick with this personnel. Do it out of the front four. Get him a run stuffer. Get him a Joe Klecko. Get him a Damon Harris. Get him a Chris Jenkins to work inside with Quentin Williams. and plug up the run and make it hard for teams to run. Because one time, we gave up a little bit of rushing yard, but it wasn't this bad. Like the 49er game.
Yep.
And what we saw the Arizona game, that's the worst.
Or that Bills game.
We weren't this bad.
That Bills game was
That's
atrocious.
True. The Bills game too. Yeah, I forgot
Oh my
that.
goodness!
You know,
that man was getting the ball with 5
to
yards.
The front four that we have.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's right. But I like our personnel group. Stick to the front four, and he can still run those blitzes because his father ran a 46. He could run some variation. We have the personnel to run some variation of that and be pretty nasty because we can cover. Our corners are exceptional, and we can get Sauce Gardner's, mind right. I think his head's kind of messed up.
Yep.
While he's struggling and falling off of people trying to tackle him. Oh boy, he's looking kind of rough right now. And I think Rex is the right guy to encourage Sauce, to talk to him. We know he's a great football mind, Rex Ryan. He knows how to work with defensive players. They love Rex.
Yeah.
So to the time he got fired, those players lobbied for him, and they got him an extra year extension. I thought he was going to get fired that year before. You remember that?
Facts,
and they lobbied so hard, the players, and they kept him on board for one. I'll never forget that. And that tells you a lot about the impact of a coach. That's why I'm one of the people who heavily supported Rex Ryan from the beginning to end. I was on board with his program, and I think he's an exceptional person. I think we'd be lucky to have him back. We may have to settle for him as our fallback option. Nobody else wants this job, but right now things are so messed up.
Yeah.
And so jacked up with the ownership, what they're doing, and things are so messed up, and it's just basically collapsed. It's basically just falling apart. And as a fan, I'm falling into despair because I'm watching some of the NFL games. I'm looking at Buffalo and Kansas City. They like wear all machines. I'm saying, why can't our team do this?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I look at the Detroit Lions of all people. I'm happy for them because I can relate and understand. They were worse than we were, and they were down a long time, but they can get their act together. We got to figure this out.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got to figure it out, man.
I'm telling you, I've put it out there early. I'm not saying Rex is the only name on my list. It's not. But when we talk about, and we're going to be talking about that, this season is going to continue on, and we'll be talking about that this offseason for sure. I'm telling you, like, he's one of the guys, especially if Aaron Rodgers stays.
Oh, yeah.
You talking about instant energy. You talking about instant confidence. You talking about, like, a player's coach, a guy that can get people to run through a wall for them and get guys to believe, and not only believe, get guys to go out there and handle business. Rex Ryan could be that guy. Listen, man.
But I think.
Go ahead. I'll give you the final word
in
before
closing,
I let you go.
Before I leave you, I think the only way it can really work, though, we got to get an OC. Obviously, Rodgers is a capable quarterback, even though he's older and not what he used to be. And we're going to need some kind of a executive to make the football decisions in terms of evaluating personnel. But we know Rex loves players. He falls in love with the player, and he can't be objective, like John Connor and all of them. Calvin Pryor, and some of the players that fell through and didn't succeed. Stephen Hill and Vlad Dukas and all that. He can't be objective and make those personnel decisions. We need somebody in over him that likes Rex, that respects his body of work, that knows a little bit about his lineage, with his father and his bloodline, that would be open to giving Rex that opportunity, and working with him,
Yeah. No, yeah. Listen, this was a phenomenal call from you. I got to slide off because we're getting short on time. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you. All right, my friend?
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely talk again. Hey, absolutely. You take care.
Thank you so much, and same to you, man. Listen, man, there's going to be a lot of talk about what's going to happen here at the general manager's position and head coaching position. I'm going to keep it real. A lot of people poo-pooing Rex. I put it out here early. I would not be surprised if Rex Ryan really becomes a name that ends up on the New York Jets head coaching, on their head coach search list, for sure. While they're searching for a head coach, his name should be on there, because if Aaron Rodgers decides that he wants to stay, or however that shakes out, right? If Aaron Rodgers stays with the New York Jets, which would be healthy for the Jets cap, because that dead money is, is serious business, okay? Rex Ryan be the guy to invigorate this football team. And this defense gonna get fixed. It's gonna get fixed. Trust me. And he's one of the guys that you could sell on not getting too involved in the offense. So you wouldn't have to have massive changes. But again, we'll see. There's a lot of things that could play out. A lot of things going on. Salutes to all the savages in the chat. Bree, I see you in the building. Salutes to Bree, man. Salutes to Bree in the chat. He says, so many things moving and shaking. He says, Hackett and Carter still have jobs. Robert and Joe, not so much. Man, oh man. It's crazy. It's completely crazy, man. It is wild to see. Bree also says, by saying nothing and letting the Jets' dysfunction speak for itself, Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas are playing this better than their teams ever did. Oof. Man, oh man. JD, salutes and respect to you. JD says it's all going to come down to if they can hire the right people. Let's be real. We have the worst coaching in the league. One of these coaches are going to think they can do a better job with this talent. We have to do something with talented players. Well, we'll see. We'll see how much talent the Jets have left. A lot of things moving and shaking, man. You know, we've got to get that shored up. Outlaw salutes. Outlaw says, oh, yeah, Jamal Adams also has something to say as well, too, about the firing of Joe Douglas. I'm sure he does. Jamal Adams is a clown. I'm sorry. That guy's flushed, man. He's flushed. Jamal Adams, I don't ever want to hear anything from him. And also, Jets fans that scream for him to return to the Jets, you know
what more do you?
You guys are flushed too. Man, I had a Jets fan I was talking to recently that was like, Joe, I still want to see Jamal Adams return, man. I know you don't like him. I just stopped. I just stopped. I just cease communication. I got to take some time away. Don't tell me you want to see Jamal Adams return to the Jets. Please stop. Well, we're going to end the show here. This has been phenomenal. Please give the stream and content a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. And share the content as well along your social media with your friends and your family. Okay? We're going to be talking about this quite a bit. All right, I know people want offensive guys. Some people want defensive guys. Some people, there's a lot of talk about the general manager search. We're going to be having this discussion because this team is in a rough situation. All right. So listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on The Long Beach Joe Show. All right. I really do. I appreciate it. All right. For those of you that may not know, okay, I'm on Twitter. Going over to Twitter, type in @The Long Beach Joe, @The Long Beach Joe on Twitter. Follow me, I'll follow you right back. If you want to troll me, no problems. I'm the troll that lives under the bridge, and I will have my Vera Tucker jersey on at all times. At all times. He's playing all right, man. You know, he's a guy that I hope stays. We'll see. But I hope he does stay. But we'll be down there trolling. All right. Also, I'm on YouTube as well. Come on over to YouTube. All right. Type in Long Beach Joe Jets. Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. So when I post content, you'll be in the know. Give the videos and streams a thumbs up. If you want to give to the platform, Super Chats is there. Anything you give is greatly appreciated. And if you want to troll, get in those comments. All right. And troll, and we can go back and forth. All right. And as always, people, when I see you in person, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone. Free hugs for everyone. The hugs will cost you absolutely nothing. Thank you for taking the times out of your day to kick it with your boy and interact.
90 seconds.
Blog Talk Hating. Any way that you interact with me or the show is greatly appreciated. And again, happy holidays to everyone as well. I wish everyone a happy holidays and a warm holidays with their friends and their family. So until the next show, you folks have a good one. Peace. 1 second, folks. Pow. Okay. Listen, folks. Man, oh, man. Great show. I want to thank y'all. Again, I know, I've been moving and shaking. So we're going to keep these, shows coming. Please check out all the content here. I got to get on because my schedule is wild. All right. Exclamation point. Links in the chat brings up my link tree. Please, everyone click that link tree. It has all of the charities that I work with, all of my social media links, everything. Please get involved with everything that I'm doing, okay? We do these shows year-round, for those of you that do not know. Year-round, we do these shows, okay? Depending on what's going on, okay, my schedule's all over the place. Veteran savages know that. But I post that I'm going to do shows live hours before I do them. So please follow me across my social media, get involved with my YouTube, subscribe, hit that notification bell, click all when you hit that notification bell. Excuse me. So that you can get all of the content, the videos, and also get the notifications for when I go live too. We have a lot of fun here. Again, we do these year round. We watch games together when my schedule allows for that to happen. And we have a blast. Okay. Now, here's the deal. This is the number to the show. Okay. For the foreseeable future until I tells you that it's going to change. Okay. It may change. We'll see. But again, until I tell you that it's going to change, this is the number for the foreseeable future. Okay. Blog Talk. It sucks, but here we are. That's, so, listen, we have a lot of fun when you call in. Again, I take live callers. Y'all heard like tonight, I talk for just a little bit, 10 minutes at the most maybe, and then I go straight to the lines. All right. When you call in, please make sure you have a good phone. All right. Don't call me with a phone you found in a Home Depot dumpster. I need a good connection. If I cannot hear you, you echoing crazy, or all this crazy stuff, I'm just going to move on. I can't deal with that. I cannot deal with that. Also, please, some people call in on headsets, right? Take your headset out. It makes it echo crazy, sound weird. I'm going to ask you to make the adjustments. If you cannot do that, I'm going to move on. Okay? The only thing I don't allow on my show, is cursing. Do not call into my show cursing. I will get you out of here. Don't do that. Okay? One, this is YouTube. YouTube is very sensitive. I must respect YouTube. Okay? And two, this is a family show. I have young people that listen to me, older people that listen to me. I'm not having that, okay, on my platform. Don't call in here cursing, because I'll get you up out of here fast, bro. I don't stand for it. All right. Now I understand sometimes things slip. I'll, say, hey, family show. But if you dropping crazy stuff, I'll get you up out of here. Don't do that. Okay. This is a family show. All right. So, yeah, those are the only rules. All right. Listen, people call in all the time, different takes, want to say different things. I want to hear you out. I don't care what your take is. Even if I don't agree with it, I want to hear you out. I want to hear what you got to say. So, yeah, please, don't be scared or nothing. When you call in, also, I can physically see you. Okay. So when you call in, I can see you. I have a queue system. I can see you. So just wait. My hold times are not long. My hold times are not long, okay, at all, all right? Especially when we got, a ton of callers returning and burning, all right? Just wait. Literally, my hold times are not long at all. If I don't know you by name, I'm going to call you out by area code, okay? Listen here. Please know what your area code is, all right? I've had issues with people or a person in the past, I will never say who it is, that did not know what their area code was. And they thought that I had blocked them. They thought all kinds of crazy stuff. And I had a conversation with them and I said, hey, is this where you live? And they said, yeah. I said, is this your area code? They said, oh, I didn't know that. I said, yeah, that's why I keep saying these numbers, because this is where you live. This is the area code to where you live at. So if you don't know your area code, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. I don't know. Please know what your area code is. All right? Please know what your area code is. Please. Okay? Please know what it is. Please. Because I want to hear from everybody. So if I don't know you by name, I will call out your area code. Okay? Hey, 1, 2, 3. Let's go. What are your thoughts? And give us your takes. Okay? Also, background noise as well, too. Like, crazy stuff like that. Some people like to call me. They're on the jackhammer at the construction job. They want to talk to your boy Joe about the Jets. Hold on, player. Put that jackhammer down, go down the street, and then come back and talk to me about what's going on, okay? Because if I cannot hear you and my audience can't hear you, what can I do? There's nothing I can do. Okay? So, yeah, we have a good time over here. We have a lot of fun. We also watch games together. After the games, we have live radio shows, too, if time permits, if it's not too late, all right? So, those are usually hot shows, too. Okay? So, yeah, please get involved with everything I do over here. We also game on this channel from time to time. We'll get back to that eventually. My schedule is just crazy. So please get involved in that too. So I know there's a lot of people mad because I'm not gaming as much as I used to, but I got stuff I got to do. All right. So please get involved with me on that. And, check in with your boy, man. Again, subscribe, thumbs up, hit that notification bell, man. It does a lot for the channel, gets it out there. And I really, really appreciate it. Also, I got a reaction channel. Go check out that. I'm going to put reaction videos up. My schedule has been wild. Trust me, they're coming. So please get involved. We laugh at people on the internet, okay? Please go over there and get involved. That's in the link tree as well, all right? So before I get out of here, listen, salutes and respect to all of the Savage, man. Outlaw, salutes and respect to you. He says, Rex Ryan said, all you got to do is call him. He wants the job, and also reference that he bleeds green and white. He absolutely does. He absolutely does. All right. He also says, and also he has a history with Tyrod Taylor. He's the one that decided to play. He's the one that decided not. He's the one that not decided to play with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Todd Bowles. Yeah. Hey, listen. I'll tell you. Orlando C salutes. He says, another 5-year rebuild. I'm so tired of this organization. Yeah, it's going to be rough. You got to have the right guy to go into the rebuild and, get you to a spot of success. Salutes to Bree. He says, great show, and Joe and callers. Thank you. Salutes. JD, salutes to you as well. He wants Cliff Kingsbury. I see you. All right. Hawkeye Digger, salutes as well to you. Bree, again, salutes to you, man. All right. JD in the building. Salutes and respect to everybody, man, that comes on by, says what's up, your boy, was involved in the chat in any way. Larry Edwards, Dano, it's always good to see you in the building. Brendan, always good to see you in the building as well, man. All right, Christopher Phillips, salutes and respect to you too. GM, I see you. Cobra Kai, I see you. All right. Salutes and respect to everybody, man. Everybody that came on by. Todd, Lil Balloon, I see you in the building as well. Keep doing your thing, Lil Balloon. I see you. All right. Salutes and respect to everybody, man, that came on by and said what's up to your boy. Again, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and, get involved with my content, man. A lot of stuff on the way. Please, please, please check out my content and stay up with your boy. I got to get out of here. Listen, happy holidays to everybody, okay? I wish everybody a warm and happy holidays with their friends and their family. I'll let you guys know when I'm doing the next show. I know, we got, a holiday coming up, so may not be next week, but I'll let you guys know for sure. Again, live shows coming. I know there's a lot of people that was like, Joe, what's going on, bruh? Like a lot of things moving and shaking, man. So, but, really enjoy doing this, and we're going to continue on, man. We're going to continue on. We have a blast doing these things. That's what it's all about. I love connecting with Jets fans and having a discussion. I love connecting with football fans. For those of you that are watching, you may not even be a Jets fan. I have people that watch me all the time that are fans of various other teams, Titans, Falcons. I have Patriots fans that watch me, Bears fans. You can call into the show too, okay? Just show respect, all right? Some people call in and want to bash the Jets. I'll allow that for a little bit. Don't get too crazy. Okay. But hey, you can call in and give us your perspective from the outside looking in as well. So, we have a good time here, and, this is all about enjoying it and sharing takes back and forth, nothing wrong with getting passionate as well, and having that discussion. So that's what it's all about too. So I got to get out of here, folks. Listen, folks, be safe. All right. Be safe. There's a lot of crazy things going on in this world. Don't ask me why, because I don't know. Okay, I really don't know. All right, sit down with your friends and your family, eat some good food, watch some good TV, eat a good meal, and let the people that you love know that you love them. All right, it's important to me in my life. I hope it's important to you in yours. Okay, so until the next show.